parents. What's the funniest way your child has ever ruined a work meeting? I was in the middle of the biggest Zoom meeting of my career. 15 executives staring at me while I tried to prove I was ready for a promotion. My boss had her pen out, scribbling notes on everything I said, and I'd spent 3 weeks rehearsing this pitch like it was Broadway. The slides were polished, the numbers were airtight, and I was determined to make it through without a single distraction. For the first 5 minutes, I felt unstoppable. I was hitting every talking point, answering questions before they were even asked, and even got a nod from my boss, which is basically her version of a standing ovation. Everything was finally going according to plan. That's when my 6-year-old Milo wandered into the frame. He had been suspiciously quiet all morning, and I should have known that meant trouble. He marched behind me wearing nothing but swimming goggles, a red towel cape, and my wife's lipstick smeared across his face like war paint. Without hesitation, he climbed onto the couch, spread his arms wide, and shouted, "Behold, the strongest man alive!" The call went dead silent. 15 executives just stared while I tried to keep talking about quarterly projections like nothing was happening. Milo, of course, took my panic as encouragement. He started flexing his little arms, making explosion sound effects, and doing superhero poses directly behind me. I waved at him desperately, mouthing "go," but he ignored me. Then he spotted my coffee mug. "This is my power potion," he declared, snatched it up, and took a massive gulp of black coffee. A second later, it sprayed everywhere like a fire hose. Now he's coughing and gagging, lipstick smeared worse than before, while I'm still talking about marketing budgets. My boss finally interrupted. "Do you need to handle that?" I said everything was under control. That was a lie, because Milo wasn't finished. He spotted the bowl of cereal my wife had left on the table. Still in character, he announced he needed to fuel up for battle. He grabbed the bowl, tripped over his cape, and launched milk and Cheerios all over our white carpet. He landed flat on his back, cape spread underneath him like he'd just lost a superhero battle. But instead of crying, he gasped and shouted, "Oh no! The floor is hungry and I fed it too much." Then he crouched over the puddle, patting the carpet and whispering, "It's okay, Floor. Don't eat too fast or you'll get a tummy ache." That was it. The executive team completely lost it. My boss tried to cover her mouth, but I could see her shoulders shaking. The CFO actually unmuted just to ask, "Did he just apologize to the floor?" I'm on my knees blotting milk with paper towels, while Milo continues his therapy session for the carpet. "Sometimes we all eat too much," he explained to the floor. "It happens." At that point, my boss called a 15-minute break. I shut my laptop, looked at Milo lying dramatically in the puddle, and told him, "You just ruined my career." He grinned and said, "You're welcome." When we resumed, I expected to get shredded. Instead, my boss opened with, "Well, that was the most entertaining quarterly update we've ever had." Somehow, I managed to finish my pitch, though every person on the call was still smirking. Here's the twist. I got the promotion. Later, my boss told me she was impressed that I didn't completely fall apart under extreme domestic pressure. Apparently, if you can handle a 6-year-old superhero mid-crisis and still deliver numbers, you can handle managing a team. Now Milo is a legend in my office. Nobody asks me about sales figures anymore. They ask how the floor whisperer is doing. And at every company party, my boss retells the story about how my son tried to save a carpet's digestive system. So yeah, I rehearsed for weeks, nailed my pitch, and still ended up remembered for the day my kid declared war on a bowl of Cheerios. And that promotion, I owe it to the strongest man alive.